Bluebird's net income plunged 49% in 2020. Good afternoon, viewers. Market Headlines ready to provide you a number of informations from the business, economic, and capital market sectors with me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. President Joko Widodo directly monitored the vaccination process for banking and capital market workers. The president said that those sectors were prioritized because they were a very important part of driving the national economy.
Today, President Joko Widodo directly monitored the COVID-19 vaccination process for banking and capital market players. The president said that the banking sector and capital market were prioritized because they were a very important part of driving the national economy.
Itu pagi hari ini kita melakukan vaksinasi besar-besaran di perbankan dan pasar modal, terutama bagi yang setiap hari berhadapan dengan pelanggan, berhadapan dengan masyarakat, baik itu customer service yang melayani pelanggan maupun teller yang juga melayani masyarakat, ini yang diberikan prioritas terlebih dahulu.
The president hopes that capital market and banking activities will be protected from the spread of COVID-19 and finally return to normal as usual. Meanwhile, until March 30, 2021, there were 7.72 million people who had been vaccinated for phase 1. Meanwhile, 3.5 million of them had already received stage 2 vaccination. From Jakarta, IDX Channel team reported.
Bio Farma is now preparing to receive coronavirus vaccine candidate Novavax to Indonesia. It is estimated that the American-based vaccine will be available by second quarter of 2021.
In the midst of vaccine embargo situation, government works on adding more vaccines to the country. State-owned enterprise Bio Farma has option. The president director, Honesty Bashir, stated that the company is about to get coronavirus vaccine candidate Novavax by the second quarter of 2021. And according to the plan, Bio Farma will get 52 million doses of Novavax vaccine. The president director is now rolling submission to Food and Drug Regulatory Agency to get emergency use authorization.
Ada beberapa hal yang ingin kami akan melakukan update nanti. Pertama memang dari sisi progres vaksinasi sendiri, baik itu dari sisi supply untuk program vaksin gratis yang dalam ini dilakukan oleh pemerintah. Kemudian juga ada segera nanti sekitar Q2, kita juga akan segera masuk vaksin Novavax. Ini juga lagi berproses. Kita lagi melakukan trailing submission-nya ke Badan POM, karena memang di beberapa negara juga uji klinis tahap 3-nya lagi proses finalisasi dan juga akan segera mendapat EUA dari Badan POM setempat.
Novavax coronavirus vaccine candidate is one of the verge on receiving the regulatory approval. In the clinical test, the experimental vaccine demonstrated 96.4% efficacy against the original strain of COVID-19. From Jakarta, Rahajo Pamo, IDX Channel.
West Java Governor Ridwan Kamil said that Kertajati International Airport in Majalengka would function as an aircraft maintenance, repair, and overhaul, or MRO facility alongside its current function of serving passengers and cargo.
West Java Governor revealed that Kertajati International Airport in Majalengka District, West Java would function as an aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul or MRO facility alongside its current function of serving passengers and cargo.
agar Kertajati fokus juga pada bisnis-bisnis non-penumpang. Kargo sudah dimulai. Nah, yang terbesar akan dikonsolidasikan oleh Pak Menteri Perhubungan adalah MRO, ya, maintenance, repair, dan overhaul, maaf. Nah, itu ya, sehingga semua pesawat-pesawat di Indonesia ini kira-kira nanti bisa difasilitasi maintenance-nya di sana, termasuk untuk TNI AU.
Emil spoke of an international airlines keen to open its MRO facility at the Kertajati International Airport. Emil believes that the Kertajati Airport can yet be operated optimally before the completion of the Cisumdawu Toll Road plan in December 2021. Kertajati International Airport would serve as the connectivity center in the Rebana Metropolitan, a new industrial area covering 13 industrial cities. From Jakarta, IDX Channel team reported.
Bank Indonesia launched the 2020 Sharia Economic and Financial Report. The central bank ensures that the transformation of the Islamic economy and finance as a new source of growth is continuously carried out optimally for the national economy.
Bank Indonesia launched the 2020 Sharia Economic and Financial Report. The governor of Bank Indonesia, Periwarjo, said that the transformation of the Islamic economy and finance as a new source of growth continues to be carried out optimally for the national economy.
Untuk tumbuh lebih baik, pemulihan ekonomi yang lebih optimis di tahun 2020. Dan semuanya itu didukung oleh transformasi ekonomi yang terus kita lakukan menuju Indonesia yang makmur dan berpendapatan tinggi.
In its report, Bank Indonesia also wrote that Sharia economic development is expected to strengthen the structure of the national economy. This can be seen from the performance of priority sectors in the halal value chains, which is higher than the national economy, including during the 2020 period in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, the role of Sharia economic policies in national economic recovery goes through three things. First, through its role as part of the accommodative Bank Indonesia policy mix to support Sharia banking liquidity to finance Sharia economic performance. Second, in supporting the resilience of Sharia business through Sharia economic empowerment based on the principle of partnerships, both on Sharia MSMEs and Islamic boarding schools. Third, through the optimization of Islamic social finance such as zakat, infak, alms, and wakaf inclusively to mitigate increasing poverty and widening inequality. From Jakarta, IDX Channel team reported.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Clara Antawijaya. I'm associate producer and news presenter on Market Headlines. As Market Headlines starts at 4:30 p.m., which is in line with the closing market, therefore we summarize market conditions only for you. And my job in here as a journalist, I give concise and accurate news for the audience. And also, being a journalist is not only a job for me, but it is also a passion.
Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Welcome back. Major blaze at Pertamina's refinery in Balongan has stolen public spotlight. From observers' perspective, the blaze is worried to cause gasoline shortage. Energy observer at Gajah Mada University Fahmi Radi worries about gasoline shortage that might happen after a huge fire at Pertamina's refinery in Balongan, West Java. As a prospective or preventive way to overcome the shortage, Fahmi said that government needs to import gasoline. Even though it will soon be backed to oil and gas trade deficit, but the observer believes that it is the most ideal way to solve the shortage. This is because Pertamina's refinery in Balongan contributes around 17% of national gasoline.
Satu-satunya yang bisa dilakukan oleh Pertamina adalah memperbesar impor BBM tadi. Jadi substitusi atau pengganti dari produksi balongan tadi itu tidak bisa dari kilang lain, tetapi yang paling bisa adalah impor. Nah, kalau meningkatkan impor maka ini akan mempunyai konsekuensinya memperbesar defisit neraca migas dan jangka panjang akan menyebabkan ketergantungan kepada impor semakin besar.
The whole IDX Channel team would like to extend deep condolence for the victims at Balongan refinery fire. Up until now, Pertamina is still trying to fully extinguish a fire that broke out at its Balongan refinery 3 days ago. As stated by Pertamina, the existence of the Balongan oil refinery is considered very strategic for Pertamina's business, as well as for the national interest. And let's see the profile in the first graphic. This is Pertamina's Balongan refinery profile, 6th refinery from 7 Pertamina's refineries. Core business to process crude oil to gasoline has been operated since 1994 and located in Indramayu, West Java, Indonesia. And capacity hit 150 million barrel steam per day. And a number of products produced from the Balongan refinery are premium, Pertamax, Pertamax Plus, and many others. 4 out of 72 tanks in the refinery area were said to be affected by the incident, which holding around 7% of the total storage capacity at the Balongan refinery. Many people are worried if the fire will have direct impact to shortage of national gasoline. But then Pertamina firmly stated that national fuel stocks remain secure and no need to worry because any shortage of fuel supply to Jakarta, which Balongan serves, will be replaced by refineries in Cilacap and Tuban. And let's see the exact statement from the CEO of Pertamina through the next graphic. This is the statement of Nika Widiawati, CEO of Pertamina. She said that there is no problem with fuel supply because the main equipment of this refinery is not affected. Fire was only in the tank area. The president director appealed to the public to calm down to anticipate the occurrence of unconsiderable things and for the community to be safe. Pertamina also blocked the road to the fire location. Even though national fuel stocks remain secure, but still losses cannot be denied. Significant losses is very noticeable in terms of oil production. Therefore, let's see the production loss in the next graphic. This is production loss at Pertamina's Balongan refinery, as much as 400,000 barrels. Cilacap refinery to cover 300,000 barrels, and Trans-Pacific Petrochemical to cover 500,000 barrels. And from the fact that the losses can be covered, any shortage of fuel supply to Jakarta, which Balongan serves, will be replaced by refineries in Cilacap and Tuban. Therefore, the public does not need to worry because the fuel condition is still under control. In the other hand, Director of Logistics and Infrastructure of Pertamina, Mulyono, said that the current national fuel stock is at a very safe level. According to him, people do not need to panic and do not need to buy up existing fuel. And let's see the national gasoline stock condition in the next graphic. Gasoline, the stock as much as 10.5 million barrels, the sufficient period 27 to 28 days. Meantime for after 3.2 million barrels, the sufficient period 74 days. And solar, 8.8 million barrels and the sufficient period for 20 days. We compiled the data from Pertamina. And with this sufficient supply, we need no worry, right? Pertamina will also monitor consumption patterns at each gas station, so there are no gas stations that will have a shortage. Plus point is that Pertamina is currently standby for Ramadan. Therefore, the company has prepared more gasoline for upcoming months. And the latest update we receive is that Pertamina emergency firefighting team is still extinguishing the fire. Pertamina is still continuing to cool down the 3 tanks and that have been extinguished, and we hope it can be extinguished as soon as possible and no re-emerging fire. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.
Kereta api Persero yang kembali menambah fasilitas layanan pemeriksaan genos.
Transisi ke energi baru dan terbarukan tidak membuat industri energi fosil lantas surut. Seperti apa dampaknya terhadap sektor migas?
Turunnya atau rendahnya harga minyak dan gas yang sangat drastis turunnya, adanya pandemi yang membuat terbatasnya pergerakan.
Langkah yang dilakukan apa nih Pak?
Hingga hari ini saya kira Brent hari ini sekitar 55. Ini sesuatu yang positif untuk industri yang itu kira.
Hello, I'm Clara Antawijaya. I'm Associate Producer and News Presenter on Market Headlines. As Market Headlines starts at 4:30 p.m., which is in line with the closing market, therefore we summarize market conditions only for you. And my job in here as a journalist, I give concise and accurate news for the audience. And also, being a journalist is not only a job for me, but it is also a passion.
Indeks harga saham gabungan bergerak fluktuatif.
Nilai tukar rupiah terhadap dolar Amerika Serikat sedikit mengalami apresiasi.
Bagaimana dengan target pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia di kuartal 1 tahun ini?
Sehingga pada kuartal 1 tahun 2021 diperkirakan ekonomi akan mengalami kontraksi, akan mengalami penurunan.
Faktor-faktor utama dalam penolakan dari Uni Eropa terkait produk sawit Indonesia.
Indonesia disebut belum mampu menerapkan standar lingkungan yang cukup dan juga standar keberlanjutan yang cukup.
Welcome back. We're on the last segment, and the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today. JCI was open at the level of 5,998.36, and then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 5,959.09. Then the index was showing a strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 5,985.52. In short, JCI went down 1.42%. And we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got infrastructure as the leader of the strengthening trend, went up 0.28%. And we got basic industry as the leader of the weakening trend, went down 2.75%. Finance went down 2.28%. And Miss Industry went down 1.82%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Film went up 13.56% to the level of 402 rupiah per share. PK went up 27.87% to the level of 78 rupiah per share. PTRO went up 7.48% to the level of 1,940 rupiah per share. And IPOL went up 13.55% to the level of 176 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BBCA went down 2.81% to the level of 31,075 rupiah per share. BBRI went down 2.22% to the level of 4,400 rupiah per share, and BMRI went down 2.77% to the level of 6,150 rupiah per share, and Asa International went down 2.31% to the level of 5,275 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,572. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 14,518. In summary, rupiah went down 0.32%. The taxi fleets company Bluebird was knocked out by COVID-19 pandemic. Based on the annual financial reports, Bluebird's net income plunged 49% in 2020.
In 2019, Bluebird still managed to earn net income of 4.05 trillion rupiah. However, in 2020, the company's net profit went down 49% to be only 2.05 trillion rupiah. Revenue from taxi fleets was around 1.54 trillion rupiah, still the largest contributor, while the vehicle rental worth 520.94 billion rupiah. And in terms of property, building lease managed to collect 4.47 billion rupiah. And there was also auction commission worth 14.82 billion rupiah. However, in terms of asset, the company had suffered losses. Until the end of 2020, Bluebird's total asset amounted to 7.25 trillion rupiah, or 2.279% decrease from the previous years of 7.42 trillion rupiah. And therefore, Bluebird had to face current year loss of 163 billion rupiah. From all sources, IDX Channel.
This year, Semen Indonesia will open a new export market to North America. This is targeted that the export volume to the region can reach 500,000 to 1 million tons throughout the year.
This year, Semen Indonesia will open a new export market to North America. It is targeted that the export volume to the region can reach 500,000 to 1 million tons throughout the year. President Director of Semen Indonesia Hendy Priyo Santoso said that the export was in line with the initiation of cooperation between the company and Taiheo Cement Corporation. This is the company's efforts to boost sales amid the ongoing pandemic. Since last year, encouraging exports has been indeed one of the company's efforts to boost sales. This is due to the decline in domestic sales, both in terms of bulk cement by 27% throughout the year and retail, which fell by 13%. To note, throughout the last year, the company posted an increase in net profit of 16.72% year-on-year to 2.79 trillion. The increase in net profit occurred when the company experienced a decrease in revenue by 12.87% year-on-year. IDX Channel team reported.
Moving on to agriculture sector, listed company Sawit Sumber Masarana has set capital expenditure of 550 billion rupiah for 2021. Up until February, the company has used 20% of it.
As the economy emerged from the shadow of the pandemic, Sawit Sumber Masarana tries to work effectively to keep the momentum. Only within 2 months, from January to February period, the company managed to use 20% of the total capital expenditure of 550 billion rupiah. As the Director of Finance said that the use of capital expenditures is focused on financing the development and maintenance of the infrastructure in the company's oil palm plantation areas, which is designed to support the operation. For example, road race constructions from plantation area to refinery area. From all sources, IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. And here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.